All right, I have the record button back on, and we're going to move into chapter 14 about planning our presentation. So this chapter will help you a lot with the actual short presentation that you will be doing on your business proposal. Let's see what else. That's up to you. Yeah, it's up to you. I mean, again, whatever you can cover within about 10 minutes is fine. All right. Let me get to, oh wow, have I lost my, we have lost this, let's see. Yep, I think I gotta, get my, blackboard back up. Okay, so we're moving into week 9, the first part of that. Let's see if the share screen will work now. Again, this week we'll cover 14 and 15, and both of them have to do with the presentation part of your project, your proposal. So let's take a look at our author here.
Hi, I'm Pete Carden, the author of your textbook. Today I'll talk about my planning presentation challenge, and I'll also issue a challenge. Presentations are among the best opportunities for you to shine in the workplace. The next 2 chapters are about presentations. First, we focus on preparing the presentations. The next chapter will focus on delivery. You'll have hundreds, perhaps thousands of opportunities to give presentations in the workplace. You may be promoting a new idea, reporting on the status of a project, marketing a product or service, or for a whole host of other reasons. Like other messages, the most important stage is planning. You'll read about many ideas for planning in this chapter. I want to emphasize 2 points. First, focus on your content. I often see business professionals obsessed with attention getters or developing PowerPoint slides right from the beginning of the planning process. This is out of order. Your first task for another business messages is to understand your audience and its expectations. Work through your ideas and structure your message with key takeaway points. Everything else, including the attention getters and visual aids, emerges from this process. Next, we introduce the storyline approach to presentations in this chapter. The best presenters know how to engage their audiences emotionally and intellectually. Read this section about stories carefully. It's not an approach that emphasizes entertainment. Rather, it is an approach that emphasizes talking about real people with real challenges, with real resolutions, all in the context of meeting the business interests of your audiences. So this is my challenge for you. Go depth. Great presenters can make presentations sound simple and accentuate a few memorable takeaway points. Often their apparent ease and comfort with their presentation is their thorough, in-depth understanding of the issues involved. As you gain in-depth understanding of the topics, you really increase your chances of developing great presentations.
Okay, so we're looking at actually creating our presentation to be fairly simple, but yet thorough. And we want to go about it just like we've gone about many of our other items, where we start about analyzing who our audience is going to be. Okay, let me get your PowerPoints going. And let's see, you all have PowerPoints this time?
No.
I knew it. I have to go and change that stupid thing every time. All right. Okay, let's try it now. Got it?
Yes.
All right. Okay. All right. So this particular chapter deals with the planning of the presentation. Again, we are, we're focusing in on taking our time to do these presentations rather than jumping in and just developing PowerPoints right away. We need to start off by looking at our audience, gather our information, develop the slide presentations. Notice that that's, over halfway through before we actually get those slide presentations together. We will talk about the storyline approach, and then we'll look at fairness and effectiveness again. So we're looking at credibility once more. Okay, when a manager says the project costs more than expected because the engineering department gave an incorrect initial estimate and because the workers didn't work hard enough and fell behind schedule, he has damaged his credibility if the listeners know that that wasn't the real cause of going over the budget, that it was really due to delays getting permits and material costs going up. So when you say something that is not fact-based, or if it's just completely incorrect, your credibility as a manager gets destroyed. And people will tend to not focus on what you are saying after that point. Let's see, a manager says the only way we can finish this project on time is if we all work overtime for the next 2 weeks. If you have other obligations, cancel them. I need everyone here, no exceptions. This is a case where the manager is not showing caring. And that again will hurt her credibility with her employees. I'm presenting to investors. An executive says, I guarantee that your investments will double in value over the next 3 years. And when that doesn't come true, this time the character, and then of course his credibility will be harmed as well. So what you say needs to be fact-based, okay? Yes.
Got a pretty bad storm coming through here right now, too.
Got a what?
Pretty bad storm coming through here right now.
Ooh, okay. Well, our sun has come out here, but it looks really bad. Still looks pretty black out there, but we had it pretty rough there for a while. So I'm so sorry. We'll just keep going, hopefully get to a point where you feel like you, if you need to leave for some reason, or if something happens to the transmission, hopefully we'll have gotten most of it under our belt for today.
All right.
All right, so analyze your audience, just like we've said before, in all of our business communications. But you want to think about what the best, most appealing easiest to learn ways are available. Use that AIM planning process that we've talked about before. Your audience, develop your information and your message. So here's some good questions you can ask yourself as you're doing that business proposal assignment that you have. How will your audience members benefit from the product, service, or ideas that you are proposing? What do they already know about your product, service, or ideas? And what would their chief concerns be? Now, personally, if I was a manager in a company and I didn't have a website yet, some of my biggest concerns would probably be, how much is it going to cost us? And is it really going to bring us in any money? Okay? Who's going to develop it? Those are questions that I would think would be of concern. So obviously your audience needs to be your key decision makers. So look at what's going to appeal to them and what their learning style is. This one that you're doing is an internal presentation. It's within your company. So you want to have the individuals that have a lot of influence and authority to act on your ideas present. If you're going outside of the company to your clients, customers, and prospects, think about who's going to be involved in your future business. But for you all, you're doing the internal presentation. You're not presenting this to your clients and customers yet. You are actually presenting within your own company. All right, if you want to express a lot of emotion, this oral communication, your presentation would be well suited for this. And you want them also to be able to appreciate the analysis that you have done, the research that has gone into your presentation. Your audience may be comprised of visual learners. Visual learners learn best from charts, illustrations, diagrams. About 40% of our population identifies themselves as a visual learner. Auditory learners like to hear loud, clear voices. They believe emotion is best conveyed through your voice. And about 40% of the population is an auditory learner. You may have identified yourself as being either a visual learner or an auditory learner. And then we have the remaining 20% of the population who is kinesthetic learning. Okay? They like to participate in order to focus their attention on your message. Okay? They want to talk back and forth with you on what's going on. And that's how they learn from it. So you want your presentation to have a clear preview, a view, and a review. Okay? Give them a heads up about what's going to happen. Tell them about it, and then review what you've said. So 2 or 3 key messages. Everything in your presentation should lead back to that. The preview is about 10 to 15% of your presentation. The view is the bulk of it. That's 85 to 90%. And then review is the least time, about 5% of your presentation. In your preview, they do recommend that you have some effective attention getter, a positioning statement, so they'll kind of know where you're going with this, and an overview. So there's some examples there of attention getters that you can use, lots of them that you may be able to pick and choose with your presentation. Your positioning statement is where you actually give your message and show how it benefits your audience. An overview statement can be done in 1 to 3 sentences. Just a few takeaway messages there. And then you want to spend the majority of your time on your presentation to supporting and expressing your views. 2, 3, or 4 key messages there. The PREP method, P-R-E-P, stating your position, providing the reasons, giving an example or providing evidence, and then restating your position. And many people find that they follow that, then they'll pretty much encompass what they need to do in that presentation. All right, there are some examples. And then the review is the smallest part of your presentation time. Make a strong finish. Hopefully you're going to have some people buy in on what you are recommending. Recap your message in just a few sentences and provide a call to action. Now, it says avoid death by PowerPoint. Okay, remember you want your audience to focus on you, not on your PowerPoint. And you never ever want to read your PowerPoints word for word. In other words, what you want is to create a storyboard. This is just a little testimony that says that I despise how people use PowerPoint as a crutch. It's a way to cover up sloppy thinking and so on. So PowerPoint is definitely a valuable tool. It helps keep you organized and on track, but some people just find that they can't get away from just reading word for word what the PowerPoints say. Some information about how to set up a slide title and so on, and designing your slides. Be very careful about the actual presentation of the slides. You find out that sometimes certain colors do not present well on screens. Don't fill up your slides so full with little bitty lettering and lots of sentences so that audience members can't read it. I've seen some pretty awful presentations that had PowerPoint slides that must have had 150, 200 words on them, and you can't read anything. Use high contrast backgrounds and colors and compelling images in moderation. Simple charts and diagrams. You don't want anybody in the back of the room sitting there squinting, trying to read what your charts or your graphs are trying to say. If you need, you can get someone to help you do designing your PowerPoints. Now, Prezi is another presentation mode that's gained a lot of popularity. I've actually seen a few people make Prezi presentations because they are finding it easy to deal with, but with that, you can integrate videos and graphics and so on. Is it hard to deal with? I've never created a Prezi presentation. I haven't, but I've seen, I mean, if you just go to YouTube, you can see a zillion of them. And some students like it, but others, I guess, it's just. Oh my gosh. I'll have to try that on my own at some point to just see how bad it could be. All right, a storyline approach to your presentation keeps your audience emotionally involved and intellectually involved. people remember stories more than they do abstract information. So storytelling, by actually having a plot, a setting, a resolution, and some type of moral or lesson, is often a very good way to give a presentation and keep your audience's attention. And then, as always, we have that FAIR approach, facts, accessible, impact, and respected. So, and there are your takeaways. So I'm going to get us back to a video that I found. Let me get that one done. And I have lost it again. Okay, let me try sharing this one, and this is a presentation on presentations. This is presentation tips, the top 8 business presentation skills. Let's see how we do with that.
I sent an email to Nicole, and I said, Nicole, I want to know the top things that they want to know at this conference when I come to deliver this presentation. This is what you told me. I'm going to teach you the top 8 ways in your book to more effectively deliver a business presentation so that you can get your audience to do what you want, so you can motivate them, show credibility, and even make more money. And I'm going to start with how to make boring topics interesting. You should know I'm going to model everything I suggest you do. It used to drive me crazy when I'd go to these conferences and people would tell me to do stuff, but they either wouldn't tell me exactly how to do it, or they wouldn't show me how to do it themselves. Everything I'm going to suggest you do, including what I just did, which is called the circle of knowledge, by the way, and I'll give you the steps to it later, I'm going to model for you. And I'm going to start with these fish right here. This is called a hook. And as you know, in fishing, if you don't make the hook appealing, they don't want it. You got to do the same thing with your presentations. And the number one way that adults find hooks appealing is if you tell them why you're going to give it to them. Most people start with what? Exactly, they start with the what you're going to get. It doesn't work. You remember the first thing I said to you? Hi, I'm Jason Teeting. I gave you my credentials, but then I said, I'm going to show you how to gain a competitive advantage by delivering an irresistible presentation that gets your audience to do what you want. You didn't know how I was going to do it yet. You didn't know what it was going to look like yet. You knew why you wanted it. I was in line to buy an iPad a few years ago for my wife. And a man and I were talking in this line. It's about 100 people long. This is when they first came out. And I looked at him and I said, I see you're in line to buy an iPad. And he says, yep. I said, what does it do? He goes, I don't know. I've never seen one. You've never seen one? He goes, nope. I said, well, then how do you know you want it? Because it's going to change my life, he says to me. This is how he says it. It's going to change my life. Really? Why is it going to change your life? He goes, because Steve Jobs, I watched him present on this. And he explained to me that it's going to save me time. I'm going to get things done finally. And I'm going to be able to have some fun too, because I get really bored during the day. He's telling me all these things like, everything he's telling me is which one? Why he wanted. Here's the practical. I want you to, for your next presentation, to take all the topics you're going to teach. And next to each one, I want you to write down whether you think it'll make your audience more successful, more happy, or have more freedom in their life. Just write an H, S, or F next to each topic. Then write down why. And then look at all those summaries of those topics and then summarize all that in one sentence. Like, I'm going to show you how to gain a competitive advantage by delivering a presentation that gets your audience to do what you want. Doesn't that make business professionals more successful when they get their audience to do what they want? And won't it make them happier when they have that competitive advantage? And when I said that, you could hear a pin drop in here. You notice that? Everyone wants it. If you know you did this right, by the way, if you say it and people say, oh, I've been looking for someone like you. That's a hook. That's the first way to make your presentations amazing and irresistible. Hi, I'm Jason Ch14 from Rule the Room, and you're about to learn how to deliver money-making presentations using tools and techniques that most business professionals will never know. If you're looking to advance your career, boost your income level, persuade your clients or customers, or motivate and inspire your coworkers, then this is the course for you. Even if you are comfortable speaking in front of an audience, in meetings, keynotes, and other public speaking venues, you're about to gain a competitive advantage by learning dozens of powerful techniques you've never seen before to sell your ideas, add value to your small talk, overcome your nerves, and make an incredible impression. And if you're concerned that your fear of public speaking is holding you back from advancing in your career, we'll give you concrete steps you can take to stand in front of an audience and deliver your message comfortably. This is one of our most popular workshops for professionals. That's probably because we surveyed hundreds of business leaders, entrepreneurs, and independent consultants to determine the top 8 things they needed to give effective business presentations. This program addresses all 8. Let me just tell you how this course is organized so you can get a feel for what's in store. In the first section, you'll learn how to turn any topic, no matter how boring, into one that fascinates and holds the attention of your audience. And you'll learn how to overcome your fear of public speaking and feel less nervous when you're in front of an audience so that your audience feels safe with you. In section 2, you'll learn how to make comfortable small talk to help you land more clients and build rapport with your coworkers. This is one of the top things that business clients want to know. How do I talk to people one-on-one? Next, you'll learn how to keep your audience listening, even after 45 minutes. Why 45 minutes? Studies show that people's minds start to wander about every 10 minutes. It's called the drifting theory. But even more importantly, after 45 minutes, the drifting interval starts to quickly speed up, and you really risk losing your audience. You're going to learn the tools you can use to keep them on the edge of their seat no matter how long your presentation. And finally, in section 2, you'll get the answer to one of the most common questions business leaders ask. How do I tailor my message for the specific people in the room? You're going to learn how to do it, even on the fly. In section 3, you'll find out how to handle challenging people in your audience, the gripers, complainers, dissenters, experts, talk hogs, quiet types, and know-it-alls. These people can quickly derail a presentation, so you need to know how to handle them and stay on track. You'll learn the top 10 most common presentation mistakes and how to fix them or avoid them to start with. And finally, you'll learn how to use the top 5 best practices in public speaking to deliver a convincing, persuasive message to your audience. Thank you for taking this course. We're looking forward to learning with you. Let's get started. We wish you the best in your career.
Okay, that was kind of a tease for a course that's being offered there. So let me get back.
I'm Jason Ch14. I help people overcome their fear.
Let me get that off. Okay. So, but I did think it had some useful comments in there, to things that you can tuck away in the back of your mind about how you want to organize your presentation. Clearly, you can see why I chose about a 10-minute limit for your presentation, because he talked about how people's minds wander after about 10 minutes. And I'm going to let you present and pack everything you can into that 10 minutes. so that you'll learn how to be simple but all-inclusive in your presentations. So, does anybody have any questions so far about you ready to tackle the assignment and get going with it? Or what kind of questions do you have as far as the presentation itself? Again, gear it for about 10 minutes. I don't have any specific number of slides. However, you do want to be thorough and follow through the steps of showing how you got from your business problem and did your research and found your facts, and then drew some conclusions and make a recommendation. So if you kind of just stay with those 4 points, I think you'll be great for the presentation. Now remember, your PowerPoints don't have to have everything that's in your proposal. Okay, the last thing I want you to do is just take your proposal and copy and paste it on slides. What I want you to do is to summarize and make the key points on the presentation. And of course, you know your proposal, so you can elaborate on any point as you're making the presentation. Questions? How's the storm over there?
It's starting to clear up a little bit.
I thought I heard something booming over there for a little bit, or either it was ours starting up over here again, so I hope not. Questions? All right. Let me just remind you all again that the week 9 and week 10 are up now. You can do as much of that as you would like before actual deadlines take place. Let me know if you're planning on like getting everything done next Tuesday and not going to show back up next Thursday, because I want to make sure everybody gets their presentations in. Anybody? Questions? All right, be safe on the road. Don't hesitate to email me with any kind of thoughts you have as you get going on these presentations, because they are 25% of your grade.